Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Welcome back to another session, another lesson with the older man. So, today I want to talk about the cost of living from the perspective of a life that is beneficial to your long term happiness and survival. Note what I just said: happiness and survival. These are two very, very important things because you could be surviving but you're not happy. You could be happy, but you're not surviving. These two things are very, very important because as you get older, you got to realize that your health will go down, your wealth will go down, and your ability, your strength, your vigor, your vitality, that's going to also go down. And if those three things are going down simultaneously, while the cost of living is going up, my friend, you better start learning about the cost of living when you're very young. So here's the thing. I'm going to approach it from the passport bros perspective. Understand one thing, ladies. The cost of being with a woman in the West is so damn high.
Three figures?
Single, so I'm gonna focus on you a little bit. Tell me, what kind of guys are you into? What do you like?
It depends.
Depends. Okay, how much does he have to make to date you? 100,000 pesos a month, 50,000 pesos, 20,000,
20K.
20K. Okay, that's
enough.
modest. Yeah, why not? Right? You can come out here and
doesn't
eat some
matter.
food.
Your demands. I'm talking about the risk of being in a marriage. I'm talking about the demands that you placed on the man. Oh, I want a six-figure man, high six figures. When you say this, ladies, you don't understand that literally dismisses 90% of men in this world.
What's your age?
I'm 31.
33.
What's the biggest challenge you run into dating 30-year-old men?
They're broke.
You're meeting broke men at 30?
I'm not meeting them, but there's multiple men out there that are broke.
So how much income should a 30-year-old guy be bringing in now in 2023?
100K
Over
plus.
100K, yeah.
100K minimum.
And you think that's realistic?
Yeah.
If you put the effort and the hustle
It's
into
very,
it,
it's very,
possible.
very possible.
But do you know what percentage of the US is actually bringing in 100K?
Very low. I don't know the percentage.
About
but it's really
10%
low.
probably. Like
10%.
Yeah.
So if it's 10% of the US, why is that the expectation at 30?
I don't know. We have that question.
Just so that you women understand this, and so that you understand how stupid it sounds when you say you want a six-figure guy, a guy making over 100,000. You literally dismissing 90% of men, not 50, not 60, not 70, not 80, 90% of men. The stupidity of this means that if there are 100 women in a room, only 10% of those women are going to get a man if she wants and only stick to this idea that she wants a six-figure man. So what is happening is that you know that in this economy, in any Western economy, it's extremely difficult to make money because the more money you make, the more the government takes. The more money you make, you literally don't have a life. Not every man can be an entrepreneur. Not every man can be a top basketball player, baseball player, rock star, rap singer. Those are the very, 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 very minor few that actually become successful. So these demands that you place on men have made him literally so stressed and so frustrated that what is he doing? He's going where the cost of a woman is a lot less. That's why, ladies, you're seeing a lot of men becoming passport bros. In Thailand, this will show you passport Joes. Yes, there is passport Joes, the white men who have gone overseas, taken their money overseas taking their talents, taking their time and energy overseas to find women much more agreeable. They're not demanding, and they want a man that will treat them well. And the cost of getting all of that, plus kids if he wants, because all of these women are a lot younger than these guys, he gets that option for a lot less than what women in the West are demanding. So ladies, you gotta understand, men have choices. Men have choices. You're losing. So what do we have now on TikTok? We get tons of women who are crying like this.
But most of my girlfriends say that whenever they're out, they never get approached by guys ever. And maybe like one girl in the friend group who does get approached, it's not like she's a total standout from the group. But for some reason, like a specific girl might just like get hit on a lot. I don't know. But not even in a biased way. I think that some of my friends are very, very beautiful. Like actually, I'm not just saying that to be nice. So it makes me really curious as to why guys don't go up to them.
Oh, no men are approaching me. Yep, blame that on the Me Too movement.
Here's some crazy research for you. So a third of men, 33%, a little over a third of men between the ages of 18 and 29 are not only single, but they're not actively looking for a partner. The same study said that by the year 2030, that 45% of women between the ages of 20 and 45 will be single. So I've got a question for the men, because I see it all the time in my comments. Most of my comments are filled with guys saying we're done. We're not looking. We like our peace. I need some more talk from you guys. Tell me why you're done. Tell me why you don't want to have a partner in life. Tell me why it's more worth it to be single than to have a partner.
You know where there's no Me Too movement? Latin America, Chile, Panama, no Philippines, no Thailand, none of those places. Men gladly approach women. I'm going to be doing a podcast with a lady who wants me to come on to her channel to tell me and my followers about how attractive it is to come to the Philippines. Yeah, they are advertising to get Western men to come to the Philippines. You have websites in a lot of these Asian and Latin American countries that are trying to get American men, Western men, Australian men, I'm talking about, Canadian men, English men to come over there to invest their time, energy, and money into their women. Because it's a massive business. It's an influx of income into their economy. Those women are not interested in coming back to America. One thing you need to change in your head right now is that these women only want a green card. No one wants an American green card. No one. Those days are done. America, as you see it right now, is no longer attractive for foreigners. No woman wants to leave her country where she got a man that could provide for her and build a house in her country where her family and friends are, and she can get to visit America whenever she wants, but then go back to her family. That is heaven. That's the perfect solution.
If you've never been to the Philippines before, it's important to understand that when it comes to the opposite sex, our two cultures are like opposite mirror images of each other. In the West, an older man can become invisible to women and may have fewer options when it comes to long-term relationships. But here in the East, many women, even beautiful and desirable ones, are often still available for marriage. So if you decide to go fishing in better waters, it can be a good idea to head this way. Now, when you first arrive in the Philippines, you're immediately going to feel like you've entered the Twilight Zone. Suddenly, there are female eyes on you, even the eyes of women you think are way out of your league. You feel powerful, younger, as if you somehow went back in time. It can be a very bizarre but intoxicating feeling. You think, how the hell did this happen? Well, the advantage has suddenly swung in your direction, and you've got your pick of the litter. You feel like a king, and you go searching for your queen. If you're smart, you date a lot of women until you think you finally found the mate of your dreams. Then, you spend enough time with her to be sure her intentions are honorable and that she is who she says she is. In my opinion, that period should last at least a year, to be sure you've been together long enough to identify and forgive each other's faults. Some of you prefer a faster courtship, and that's of course your choice. But now you're faced with the question, where do you go from here? Do you stay here in the Philippines, unmarried but living together? If I were a foreigner, that would be my first choice. From your perspective, that gives you the most freedom and most options in case things turn bad. Although being married here in the Philippines doesn't put you at too much risk financially, if you have a good prenup, there's still not a huge benefit for you as a foreigner in getting married. But there are those of you who feel very strongly about the institution of marriage and don't want your partner to feel like you already have one foot out the door. And I respect that too. On top of that, for the Filipina, there's a stigma here to being an unmarried woman living with a man. That doesn't much exist anymore in the West. Her parents, friends, and community might make her feel that she's of a lower status without the marriage certificate, because status is very important in this culture.
America as we know it is no longer attractive for women to want to come there. So you ladies got to stop this idea that these women are only marrying these American men and these Western men so that they can come to their country. Those women are not interested.
How do you think it is today that a lot of American men are going overseas to find wives?
I cannot relate. It is the real thing, but it's just insecurity. Think overseas, go overseas, babe. I completely disagree because it takes a whole lot of courage, a whole lot of self-confidence, somewhat of financial stability, and a passport, which a lot of chicks don't even have, for a man to go overseas and find his wife. And actually really be the ones who are complaining about men leaving the US to find their wives. It be the women themselves. Isn't it true that you hear so many women online talking about, leave, we don't want you here, leave, go find yourself a doormat, leave, you think you're better than everybody else now since you have a passport, where are you going? Basically, women are shaming men and insulting them for trying to do better for themselves. I hear women talking about they want to do better for themselves all the time. So what's wrong when a man wants to do that for himself? Unfortunately, some women in America are not submissive, they are way too masculine, and they don't want to cater to a man. So girlfriend, you may look feminine, but if your attitude stinks, what is a man supposed to do besides moving on? And then you're going to be mad at him for it and call him insecure?
And what do these men get in exchange? A fit, friendly, feminine woman that takes care of him, that respects him, loves him. That's irrelevant, as long as she respects him. Over in the West, what do you get? Majority of the young women now have an OnlyFans page. Yeah, there are more OnlyFans models right now than there are nurses.
A former teacher in the Metro speaks only to locally to 4 about being outed for bearing it all.
When that Franklin County woman's OnlyFans page was found, she was pulled from the classroom.
Then Brianna Coppage voluntarily resigned, and tonight only our Shoshana Stahl has the first interview with the teacher turned entrepreneurial porn star.
It's just like those connections that I'm going to miss.
Brianna Coppage started teaching 5 years ago.
Being there for students, like celebrating milestones with them.
For the last 2 years and until resigning earlier this month, she was at St. Clair High School as an English teacher. And one reason for her departure, to make more money. She started an OnlyFans page, a site that's growing popular across many generations. On OnlyFans, some offer premium content to build connections with subscribers, such as inspirational speeches, photos, and even adult content.
Okay, time out for a second. Why are we playing dumb about OnlyFans here? What are you trying to achieve? The local CBS affiliate is pretending, for some reason, that people go to OnlyFans for inspirational speeches. Maybe that's the excuse the reporter's husband gave her when she found out about his subscription to the site. No, honey, it's not what it looks like. I'm just subscribed for the inspirational speeches.
So men don't have much choice. You can either get a woman who's a hoe, sex worker, regardless of what you want to call it. So, unfortunately, men don't have many options. You can either get a sex worker from OnlyFans, or you can get A woman that has so many bodies.
Broke my heart to sit across from a 22-year-old who sleeps with 10 men a night.
I am 22 years old and I'm a full-time sex worker. I do content creating like on OnlyFans as well as stripping.
And her answer is, well, I make money. Our culture is demonic. Feminism is the number one attack on family. What are they telling women? Men ain't shit.
It's not even worth taking home to your mother. It's a simple point, man. Men don't have many choices in the West. This is the problem that we have. So most men, their only choice, go overseas and see what his options are over there. And I can tell you, they're plentiful. Women cannot do the same thing. So they're stuck at home, alone. And so we get more and more of these videos of women crying.
You're asking men to enter in this contract with women that don't want to cook and clean, don't want to be a partner to you, are adversarial, always competing against you, never working together, gets their cues on relationships from drama shows, trash media, social media in general, the worst of the worst grifters online telling women how to behave, how to treat a man, what they deserve, the entitlement, the attitude, the arrogance. All men are tired of that. And this is why men are starting to go overseas. And I'm telling you, when you notice that the average woman is far more beautiful overseas, especially in Eastern Europe. I'm only speaking about Eastern Europe. I haven't traveled everywhere else, but I'll have Asia on the docket soon. In Eastern Europe, far more beautiful on average, far more approachable, far more feminine, far more family oriented. That's literally all men are asking for and are looking for. So when they go overseas and they get a culture shock that approaching a woman, that going out with a woman is so pleasant, that she's happy that you took her out, thanks you for your time, and reciprocates that energy in her feminine way, you will completely disassociate and drop all Western women after just one trip overseas. It is going to be shocking.
I have a question for the ladies. Where did you find your long-term boyfriend or husbands? Because I am genuinely out of options at this point. I'm definitely open to ideas and suggestions because what I've been doing doesn't work for me. Tinder, I don't like anybody on Tinder, and
This was your fault, ladies. You did this to yourself. Men didn't do this. Men are just responding. Remember, I always say this. There's always choices and trade-off. For every single choice you make, there is a trade-off. You want to be a hoe in your 20s and early 30s and think that you're going to get a man by the time you hit your mid-30s, a really good high-value man? No, the trade-off is those men don't want you. If you think that you're going to have a baby by a man who don't want you and rack up a pile of baby daddies and think that you're going to get a man who's going to sweep up that mess when you hit your late 20s or 30s, no, the trade-off is those men don't want you. And as more and more channels like this arise who tell men these are not good choices for you, for your future, more and more men are waking up and saying, hey, I'm not going to be the simp. And because they know they have choices, they know that, hey, you know what, I can go and pay $80 to $150 for a passport. I don't have any kids, I don't have any obligations. I'm out. Go to Philippines, go to Thailand, go to Latin America, anywhere else outside the Western Hemisphere where this massive amount of over-sexualization of women have occurred. I don't need a man, and if I do need a man, he's only there to be my B. He's my bitch. Do what I tell him to do, and that's it. And what do I bring to the table? Oh, I got a hole. I got a little hole that he wants. The same hole that every other individual on this earth has. There are more holes out there than there are men. Women don't get it. Guys, subscribe, hit the like button, please. Let the algorithm know that you're getting some knowledge right now. Of course, if you want to have a chat with me, log in to askanolderman.com. If you got a quick question, get me over on Instagram, send me a voice message. All right? So I want to read you guys some comments on this video with all the men in Thailand, right? Just so that you can get an understanding of where a lot of these female brains are. For you guys to understand the mentality of when a man leaves and goes to try to find happiness somewhere else. Just want you to listen to some of the backlash and some of the visceral hatred that you get from women on this issue. It's insane, really. 'Cause men are just saying, listen, I just want to be happy. That's all these men are saying. Give me some happiness. Give me some peace and happiness. That's all men are asking for. Amy Apple says, we thought that when my dad came back from holiday with a Filipino wife, she turned out to be one of the most loyal and loving people I've ever met. He deserved love and loyalty after my mom cheated and left him with nothing. She saved him. Shall I say more? Shall I say more? I am glad this lady, Amy, thanks for that comment. This is what I'm talking about. And somebody responded to Amy and said, 50% chance she did it for money, but later fell in love. And this is another issue that I take with. If a woman looks at you in the West and say, I want a man that makes 100,000, or I'm not interested. What is she leading with? What does any woman lead with? Because I can tell you, no woman wants a broke man. None. The point I'm trying to get across to you is the cost is that your price, your demand price is too damn high. Every woman around the world has a price. I'm not saying you're a hoe in this situation. You need to be protected and provided for in the event you have a child for this man. That's it. If you come into the relationship childless and you just want companionship, you should actually come with your own money, your own source of income, because you're literally looking for companionship from the man. You'll get companionship and protection, but you shouldn't be looking for provision. Why is he providing for you? If you're not bringing kids to the table, why should he provide for you? What, because of your little hold? No. He could go out on the street and get that at random and pay a very small price for that. Very inexpensive. Most men are going to pay for companionship. He wants companionship. He's willing to bring you into his house. He's willing to cohabitate with you. But understand, he's doing that at a risk as well. So unless you're bringing in kids, his kids, not another man's kids. No man wants to pay for another man's seed. If you're bringing his kids, he will gladly pay for you. But there's no fair exchange just because you're you. Hell no. But back to understanding this one cost of living. The man is paying a lesser price for a better woman in another country. That is good economics. The cost of living for this man, he feels that is fair, or he's getting a good deal. We're not getting good deals in the West. This is my point when I talk about the cost of living. If she did it for money, she's a fool. My dad owns a jeweler shop that doesn't make a lot of money. She's worked there 6 days a week since they married, and they live on pennies a week. Her family is more well off than my dad. There you go. You tend to find that a lot of these Asian women are looking for the same thing men are looking for. If they're not looking to be crazy rich, they're looking for companionship, and they're looking for a man that could just make them feel like, hey, I'm not going to be destitute on the streets. That's it. But a lot of women just want this extravagant life that most average men cannot provide. She's a fly butterfly, responded at Amy. Don't listen to any of this negativity. I know many Filipino ladies who are married to middle-class foreigners and they love them and live very happy. Everyone is not a gold digger. My point exactly. Western women are so used to living in this delusional life where they feel that everything should be about money and that little hole. That's it. Fat ass, weaves, hole, nails. That's all women lead with in the Western world. They feel that that's all they should bring as value. To hell about love and all of that stuff. Oh, he don't have 6 figures? No, it's insane. Someone responded, and what percentage of Western women want or prefer a 6-figure man? Saying someone wants money because of their race or nationality is pretty racist. In most of the world, girls are mostly conservative. The culture war is not happening in most of the world, mostly in the US, and then it bleeds into a few Western countries. Yeah, you're right, because it's not here. I'm in Dubai, it's not here. We don't have that whole cultural thing. So this person said, reading some of the comments, I live in Germany for almost 5 years and visited Thailand for a while. Now this is a lady. A lot of these men have wives and kids at home while they go on business trips to sleep with anything and everything they can. I had clients return with diseases they passed on to their wives. It's not that strong, independent woman or Western woman that have failed them. It's that a lot of you men will never be satisfied with just one woman and will stick your dinghy in anything that walks. Okay, this is a totally different level or requirement that a man have. The passport bro movement is not the sex tourist movement. Sex tourists exist in every single society. It's huge everywhere. I've been to China, I've been to Panama, I've been all over, and it's the same. There's hoes in every single part of the world. That's just the way it is. And if a man don't want to shit in his own backyard, he will go overseas and do it there. That is the reality of it. You ladies, you bitch and moan about this shit, but then when you gotta go on the girls' trip, what goes on in the girls' trip stays on the girls' trip. You don't realize that that's what you're doing. Trust me, I come from the Caribbean. When those tourists come into Cayman in my young days, I had a ball. Of course, now you see these videos with women in Jamaica. You know what the diseases that they bring home to their husbands? So don't come with this crap about, oh, it's only men that do it. Women do it just as much or more than the men. So please, lady, don't come with this crap about the men bringing the diseases home. Sex tourism is even more rampant now in the Western world. Why? Because the women aren't happy and they feel that if they can go and get a little reprieve somewhere else in another country, it will make them happy.
These women are thousands of miles from home, looking to get laid. And if they're lucky, maybe even love. In many ways, the Maasai and Samburu warriors, known collectively as the Moran, still live like their tribes have for centuries. But these days, they're hunting very different game. White women from all over the world who travel here in search of the Moran's legendary lovemaking powers, their sexual prowess.
And why is this, you may ask? Why do I say this? Because most of the women that are now in their late 30s, 40s, and 50s, most of them grew up in that era where you were encouraged to be hoes in your 20s. That dopamine hit that you used to get in your 20s when you used to ride a lot of it, have a lot of fun. You want to go back to those days. You want those days back. That's what you classify as fun. Back in the day, that was something regulated only to what men used to do. But now you ladies see that as, hey, I want to go back and have some whole fun. Tell me I'm wrong. So now, a lot of ladies who are no longer getting hit like they used to back in their 20s and their early 30s, they're lonely, or they've missed those days, they're now going out, getting those diseases in those foreign countries and bringing it home to their partners back in their country. So anyway, I'm gonna keep this one short. Guys, subscribe, give me a thumbs up on this video. Let me know your thoughts. Let's have a discussion, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, cheers.